Okay, so right off the bat, while we're waiting for everybody here, if you got my memo, this is for people who have written books, who have books inside of them, who are anticipating writing books in the future. Beth Wiseman, I saw your first yesterday. Thank you for joining me. That's super fun. Okay. So she's obviously got a little more experience than us. She's got many books under her belt. But what I'm just looking to do here is find people who are in the trenches like me and give them a helping hand. Yeah. So what I want to do here is, I'll just tell you, obviously that's my name. Oh, I got to turn myself around. How silly is that? Hold on. There we go. There she is. And again, for you tank top mamas, one of my secrets for the self-pose is I use my selfie stick. My camera is on my selfie stick. Hello, hello. And so what I want you to do, I'm going to introduce myself and stuff, but right off the bat, what I want to do is have you tell me if you're a writer, what kind of book you're writing, how far, if you're just at the baby stages or if you are well in the process or published. Please go ahead and share where you are in the journey, because everybody's in a different place, and what I want to do here is pace together. You get a running partner or exercise buddy, and it takes the pain out of the endurance seasons of writing, and that's what I'd like to do here. Yes, baby steps. Goodness sakes, there's a million baby steps repeated every day. And if you're busy, like most of us are, my name's Kara Grandel, and I have 5 kids. My oldest is in college, headed into this year, and my youngest is in the, 6th grade, and she's going into 6th grade, and they're all keeping me at pace right now. I'm the taxi mom in spades. So I'm without a driver since my high schooler just took off to college, and that makes things a challenge. But I have an agent, and I'm represented by the Steve Lobby Agency, but I have not had a proposal go out yet. And I've been agented for almost 2 years. So it seems like a long time. So I wanted to find a niche on the Mommy Scopes group to encourage those of you that are also in the book writing world. I've heard many of you blogging mamas talk about a seed idea for a potential book in your future. I've heard it from you homeschool mamas, the same kind of thing. And nonfiction or fiction, the idea of carrying a book from idea phase to completion is pretty much the same for everybody. So lots of work, lots of time and energy in lives that are already busy. So obviously Beth Wiseman's in here, and she's got tons of them written already, so this is old hat for her. But I did remember her saying that it happened for her later in life, that she was in her mid-40s. Is that right, Beth, before you had your dreams hit the ground and turn into something? So it takes time, and sometimes you don't even get the time until the kids are empty nesting slowly one at a time. But yes, you are old. Not real old. I'm turning 40 day after tomorrow, so it's not terribly old. It starts to become personal. So maybe, Beth, you have some insights as to what you did to stay encouraged in the midst. A child. How old are you, Mr. or Mrs. DK Lord? How old are you, huh? So, 57. Are you a writer? Do you have a book idea, or have you already been published, or something like that? Not yet. What kind? Tell me, give me some info. Where are you at? What kind are you in? Oh, I'm trying to be patient, and this thing is new to me. This is only my 2nd scope, so waiting for those little bubbles to come up and actually talk to them is a trick for this girl. Oklahoma. And hobbies, the for pleasure, hobby, for pleasure. Oh, okay, so you're just writing for yourself. But still, to get one all the way to being done and to making it have a valid space of time, that's a pretty big deal. So I remember when that happened first for me. It was actually at a women's retreat for my church, and I had thought that I was supposed to switch up from being a ladies Bible study teacher, which I had been doing for like 9 years, to potentially helping to teach at my kids' private school. And I wasn't really looking forward to it. I was more dreading it and kind of thinking, come on, Lord, just tell me what I'm supposed to do in my heart so I can get my attitude behind it and switch gears. And in the midst of that retreat, he had taken my hobby. It was simply a hobby that I'd had for years of just playing around with story, and put his finger right on it, and he actually told me to finish. He said, he had brought back a picture of a TV show where the main character looked at the camera and said, everybody needs to know what it feels like to finish something. So that was my first instruction, and the one I ran with to get me to where I am now, which is 3.5, almost 4 years later, and still in the process. So how about you guys? Have you been a long time at it? Are you writing for a long time, or is this a new thing, or have you put action to it yet? Is it just in the dream phase? I do have a YouTube channel that I just started. 5 years. Yes, it's 5 years is impressive. It needs to be valued at something. So will you go ahead and throw up, all of you that are in here, I have a few more in here, would you guys throw up your websites or your Facebook like pages or your blogs if you have them, if you're working towards having a public name for yourself for the future? I'd love to come alongside and see what you have. I mean, I didn't really want to ask for anything in this particular thing. For me, to have friends in the midst of my journey is encouragement enough. That's kind of what I want to do. So if any of you out there want to put that in, that would be great. So I know, Beth, I've found yours before, so I know that's easy. My YouTube channel is under my name, Kara Grandel, and it's just Writer's Encouragement, and then I usually have a little title under it, and I try to keep them only 5 minutes long, so they're really short. And my agent actually told me that I was having a hard time putting anything up on my blog or anything as a writer, because I still don't feel like I quite qualify for the title because I'm in process. And she said that you have to remember that you are a writer because you've written books. And as soon as you have anybody else read your work, so whether it's a critique partner or anything, that you are actually still in the process of, that makes you an author. As soon as you have somebody read something of yours. So a lot of people are blogging or whatever, they got somebody reading their stuff. That makes them the author. She says, and you are on your publication journey. And she said that the pre-publication journey is usually fairly short in comparison to the published journey once that window happens for you, if that's what you're aiming for. It is what I'm aiming for. If you're not aiming for, then you're usually just aiming to finish and to experience the process of the creative side of your nature coming to the fore. But she said the unpublished writer's window is short, and that you lose that voice. As soon as you're published, you can't go back and talk about what it is like to be in the trenches anymore. So I've sort of embraced that, and I've capitalized on that, and I've asked the Lord to help me find my encouragement for my own process by giving encouragement. So I have a few new ones coming in. So if you're writers, or if you have a book in process or one in your heart that you know you're supposed to be getting around to, this is your group here. I want to network a little bit inside the Mommy Scopes, inside Periscope, just to kind of find a niche for my books. Are Christian fiction, historical fiction, romance, Christian. Beth Wiseman, she does some Amish, thank you. Amish people ones, and she has some current women's fiction, so that stuff's fun to find out too. So anybody else want to throw out what kind of book they're working on? I'd love to network a little bit, and not for the purpose of pushing platform or anything like that, just to find some friends that are rub shoulders with people who are experiencing the same thing. So anybody got anything out there? Before I got on today, I had a little picture, 2 little pictures about this writing process that I wanted to do, and one of them was from when one time I ran a marathon, and I don't plan on repeating the experience until my kids are much older, and but that one experience made it so that I knew the value of the drink stations and the aid stations, and one of the drink stations actually offered these little tiny cups of honey, and they helped give you a boost in the process, like when you're in the middle of the process. And so that was what I want this to be, just a little window, a boost in the middle of the process, a place for you to find like-minded people and see what they're doing, because sometimes all you have to do is see someone else, how they're figuring it out. In one area, they'll be better at something than you. Maybe you'll be better at something else than them. I'm not interested in like showing how to do craft, because if you're any kind of writer, you figured out that they've got craft and instruction coming out the yang on the internet. You can get your hands on that in a text a second. But you know, everybody's in a different process. You just like, you know, when our church goes to a church camp trip where we all go camping together, I've been kind of known as the auntie figure that teaches the young bees how to ride the bike. And so I've actually helped them get their training wheels off and tootled them around until they can get on a run behind them and hang on to the back of their sweatshirt. And I've probably taught, I don't know, 10 or 12 little kids from our church how to ride their bikes over the years. So they kind of come to me during that window. But you know that inevitably when you learn how to ride a bike, you take a spill and you get skinned hands and skinned knees, and the gravel gets there. But it never stops the kid from getting back on that bike. And, you know, eventually they climb back on and they give it a go again. And so that's also my intention for just slowly making a network inside Mommy's Scopes for the writers, is to encourage them to pick each other up, dust them off, kiss the boo-boos, and tell them to get back at it. And, you know, when they have a good day, when they've ridden hundreds of miles or they've done a massive work, like some of these people who are doing the Trans-America Trail, that they end up with people who can know what that means, who really know and value what that means. So that's all I wanted to do. Is I was looking for some interaction, and I only had a handful of people in here, but I'm going to try again later. And if you find this on the replay, I would really love it if you would find me on Facebook or Twitter and actually let me know that you're a writer and that you would want to participate in some of these. I know I'm the worst time zone. This is right at dinner time, and I'm on the West Coast, so it's way late when I do normally get my time on here. I'm getting UK followers, and so I'll have to depend a little bit more on the replays. But blessings on your book, and I am gonna pray over the dreams and pray for encouragement, and then I will sign off, because that's all I wanted, was short and sweet. So Lord, we just lift you all of these dreams that are laid out before you on Mommy Scopes, opportunities, that the open doors that would come their way. Lord, I ask that you would nudge their heart to the thing that's valuable to you, that you would increase the amounts of time that they get to safely write without neglecting their priorities in their home, their husbands and their babies, and that you would bring clarity to their vision so that they don't have to be pulled in too many directions. And Lord, just like for me, I thank you that they would finish and they would have that sense of completion, and that you would pave the road before them and that you would make it straight, in Jesus' name. So that's it. And I appreciate I'm down to one little phone.